Good evening and welcome. I'm Chris Parnell.
Reporting from Moscow.
Tbilisi.
Times Square.
May your dreams be your only boundaries in life.
Welcome to Let's Talk Money. My name is Harvey Cook and I thank you for tuning in. Besides our homes, purchasing a car can often be one of the most expensive investments that we make. So choosing the right car at the right price is an important financial decision. Joining us today to discuss the dynamic automobile industry, we're honored to have Mr. Ben Keras, who's the general manager and owner of Jim Keras Chevrolet. So without further ado, let's talk money.
Absolutely.
Ben, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Harvey. Appreciate you having me.
Tell us a little bit about Keras Chevrolet. I know you've been around a long time.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. My grandfather, my mother's father, started with the Buick store in West Memphis in 1949 and moved it over to Memphis. And my father, who married my mother, got in. My grandfather's son-in-law became business partners. And it was Charles Reed was my grandfather. Then when they merged, it became Reed Keras. Some people might see the old Reed Keras Buicks. Right. And then we've moved to Covington Pike. We've gone from Buick. We are now Chevrolet, a Nissan, and a Subaru under the Jim Keras name. And then my father's mostly retired now. It's my brother Jay and I.
So you and Jay essentially run the business.
We do. We have some really wonderful people that work with us that do that, and we're fortunate that my father had a lot of good people that could help us along the way.
So it's been a family business from the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about? And I'm not asking you to tell any inside information, but just about the dynamics of working with your family, working with a brother, working with your father. I assume you work for him at some point. Yes. Because there may be some listeners who are contemplating going into a family business, and maybe you would even have some advice for them.
Yeah, it's a different challenge than most individuals have going into the work world. You generally don't have a family business you can go into, so you have a whole different challenge. So there's not like a rule book of what to follow when you get into a family dynamic, because that's really what it is a dynamic. Mm-hmm. Working with my father, I learned a lot about my father from his work life that I never saw growing up with him. And that goes from everything to what he did to a different style of person that he would be. And that was very challenging, is not necessarily the right word, it was very interesting. And then I came in and worked for him, and then after I worked for him for about 5 years, my brother came in, and that introduced another dynamic. But we were blessed, very blessed, because my brother and I are exact opposites. Mm-hmm. There is not one thing I like to do that he likes to do, and vice versa. And that has worked very well with us and let us work in that dynamic. Now, we've also spent a lot of time with some experts. There are some out there that'll help you learn a lot about yourself, because it's very important that not only you know who you're working with, but you learn about yourself and how they perceive you. So a lot of that intensive help had to come into play for this to work out, and it's been working out. It's been great, and we have been blessed, and my family's been very, very good. My mother and father have been very good to us. My brother and I are very close. We're best friends. But it is, a lot of it's luck, and a lot of it is some, getting some expert advice out there, and then, you just got to roll with it when it goes.
Those are some very interesting comments. Yeah.
I can go further.
Can you tell us just briefly about your educational background, and tell us how your education has helped you do what you're doing now?
That is an interesting question. I went to high school here in Memphis at MUS. Graduated, didn't know really where I wanted to go to college. I was an average student. I could get in some schools, not in some schools, and I just didn't know where I wanted to go. I had a lot of friends going to the University of Tennessee, so I went there. I ended up majoring in finance, which is funny because when I was majoring in finance, it was really more what you're driven to, which is investment financials, not so much accounting financials, if you can dissect that. But my father said to me, and he said it to my brother as well, that if you want to come in the business, you need to go work on your own after school. You need to, you think you know it all, you need to get a little bit of life's lessons. So I learned a lot in school, basics. I learned a lot about investing in finance degree, but no matter what your degree, you can focus on an area. I just really wasn't focused on auto business or business per se. I did have a business degree, but it was specialized in finance. So I decided I wanted to get out of the South, and in 1999 I graduated Tennessee, and I moved up to Boston, and my sister was living there at the time, and I moved in with her, and I had no job or anything, and I kind of thought I was going to come back in the car business. So it was very important for me to find a job that, if I did not stay in Boston, would help me back if I came in the car business. So I actually got into accounting, which I always, accounting's it was very interesting to me. It was very different than I thought it'd be, and it helped me more than anything from the business number side of looking into a business, analyzing a business. I spent 2 years up there working for a company, and they're pretty much in their auditing department, public company, and got great lesson. And then I got a lesson on how work is, and then my dad said, "Okay, well, do you want to come?" I said, "Yes." Right. So
it's interesting. A lot of times young people come to me and ask for advice about going, what to do, what to study in school. And one of the things that I tell them, and if they don't want to be a doctor or something specific, I say, take accounting, study accounting, and if you can, study law, and then you can do anything you want to in business. So that's, you've had that experience.
So I said my brother and I are different.
Right.
All right, so I went into accounting. What do you think he went into?
Law.
There you go.
So you got a good background. Let's talk a little bit about running your business, and we just got a minute on this section. Talk about, do you get involved in how to price automobiles, or is that something that the dealer tells you?
Okay. You mean like the manufacturer?
Sure.
Okay.
I meant the manufacturer.
Yeah, it's a very in-depth, it's a loaded question to a bit, but a manufacturer, the way a new car works, because I want new cars are what come from the manufacturer. We order a new car from a manufacturer. It has a set cost that I pay,
right, and
then they have a window sticker on it that they suggest we sell the price for. Obviously, MSRP, but
right,
we don't sell cars for MSRP.
Right.
But that is how it works, and they have programs where they pretty much loan the cars to us till we sell them, and they kind of take care of all that for us. And then they trust us to go out, through our people and through advertising or whatever procedures we put in to sell the cars. But they state everything on the pricing. We can price them at whatever we want.
I got you.
But I do have a cost. Sure.
I'm gonna cut you off just a second. We're gonna come back to this. We're gonna take a short break, and then I want to follow that up. Okay.
But I'm not the only one. I hope someday
Thank you.
You make me feel so young.
Think young. Pass it
You
on.
make me feel so spring has sprung.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Money. If you're just tuning in, I'm Harvey Cook, and today we've been talking with Ben Keras, General Manager and owner of Keras Chevrolet. Ben, we were talking during the break, and you said something kind of interesting. People want to know how to buy a car. Tell us what they need to know.
That's the trick. Everybody, I get so many questions from friends. When's the best time to buy a car? What's the best deals?
Right.
What's the, how do I do it? Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out what's the right scenario for you. Mm-hmm. You need to say, okay, well, what kind of vehicle do I need? Do I need a sedan? Do I need fuel efficiency? Do I need an SUV? Do I need a pickup truck? What do I need? So you need to, and that's a general question you would already done on your own. And I'm going to talk just from the new car side now, because even though we do represent new cars, there's 3 used cars sold for every new car in the United States. So, but everybody always wants to know about the new car side, and then we can talk about the used car side. The new car side, when is it best to buy a car? How is it best? Once you kind of figure out what you want, you need to now do research. The internet, we had talked earlier, the internet has greatly changed the automotive buying experience, and that's a good thing, because I don't think it's far off to say, other than I have some friends that are dentists, but going to a dentist or lawyer, whatever, car dealers were not, people do not like buying cars. They do not like negotiating. They do not, and that's understandable. And at the same time, we don't like it either. Mm-hmm. It's as uncomfortable sometimes for us as it is for you. So what the internet done has broken that barrier. It has basically, it has become transparent. You now know if you have a trade-in about what it's worth. You now know if you want that SUV, you know about what everybody's paying for it.
Right.
And I found that everybody, that generally is fine. If everybody's just comfortable and knows they're getting a good deal, feels they're getting a good deal, and they're taken care of, that's the most important thing, because you're spending, whether it's 10, 20, 30, 40, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So you need to be treated that you're spending a lot of money, which is what we try to do. That's one thing we harp on. But once you kind of figure out what you want and you've done the research and you know about what it costs and whatnot, you really know everything now. You know exactly what I know. You can know to the penny how much I own a car for online. And you really do need to do that research. And the way we've seen that customers are doing that research, 9 out of every 10 vehicles we sell on our lots are coming off internet leads or calling in off internet line. I mean, it's coming from the internet. We can track it. In addition, most customers used to go to 3, 4, 5 new car stores before they bought a car. Now they're only going to 1.5. Mm-hmm. So that means the buying experience has become better, which is good. So I would say, take a deep breath first and realize that you've got a great friend out there, the internet, and the car dealers. We embrace it too, because it lets us come together with the customer and really find out what you want, and then it helps us manage our inventory. It helps us manage what we want to do, and that way we're all on the same path. So the time of the year, a lot of people say, well, what's the best time of the year? Well, a car, how would you classify a car? Would you say it's an asset? Would you say it's a liability? What do you want to say? Let's just say it depreciates.
Right.
So if you buy a car when the price is lower, which is kind of towards the end of the year, you're buying let's say a 2015 at the end of the year. That's fine. You're going to buy it less than you would have paid for it in February, but it's also going to be worth less than it will be when it was in February. So it's kind of the depreciation follows the time of the year. So there's really not a better time of the year, if that makes sense. If you go dollar for dollar of what the car is, what it depreciates to, of when you buy it, and when what it's worth. Now, there are times, and you need to be watching once you've kind of picked out a car you want. There are times a manufacturer will come out with a 0%, so that's been a big one. That is not from us. That is for Chevy, it's from General Motors. Right. So you need to be aware of when those things are happening. Those are extra special deals that will save you money. Those are good times to buy. But if there's a time of the year per se, there's really not. It's just a time when a manufacturer has a good program going, so to speak. And then, but far more important is that 80 to 90% of cars are financed or leased. You need to really, really, really understand your credit situation. And you need to understand the APR situation and financing.
Tell our viewers what APR means.
It's annual percentage rate. So,
right.
So basically, you can, we'll advertise a car for $300 a month. Well, that's basically an APR at whatever APR. We generally will advertise that with approved credit, whatnot. What I would say, you need to find out your credit score and what kind of rate that would dictate, which you need to go to your bank, your credit union, whatever, and have that available for when you're ready to buy a car. Now, the dealers, we work with all these banks and credit unions too, and we know certain ones given certain situations where we can help you. But you need to get your financing, your APR set, your loan amount set, just see where you are with your banker, and then come to us and let us see if we can beat it. Come in with facts, come in prepared, just like anything else. And it's not like we're not trying we're trying to help, but the more information you have, the greater guidance we can have to help you. We do charge a profit, and we're fine with that, but we also have to provide you a service that we're proud of, that you think is worth it, and so that we can get you coming back, whether it's for service or for buying another car, because that's what we want to do. It's okay to charge profit, but you better offer a good service for it, and that's what our strive is to do. But more information you have that you can help direct us into what you're trying to do, let us help you.
It's a good place. I hate to cut you off.
Yeah,
It's a good
okay.
place. We're going to stop and we're going to come back to this. Okay. We're going to take a short break. We've got a lot more questions. Thanks.
Everybody needs a helping hand. Take a look at your fellow man and tell me what can I do today.
Hey, let me get that for you.
Everybody needs a helping out. If that ain't what it's all about, tell me what.
Thank you, young man.
What can I
No problem.
What can I do today?
Courtesy. Pass it on.
I got it.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Make a difference. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Thank you for joining us again on Let's Talk Money. Today we are honored to have with us Ben Keras, General Manager and owner of Jim Keras Chevrolet. Just a little time left. We want to jump back and finish our conversation. Ben, let's talk a little bit about buying versus leasing. Is one better than the other? What do our viewers need to know?
It can be. That's a very good question. I think the answer to that is, again, what do you want to do? Well, everybody says the smartest thing to do is buy a car and drive it till the wheels fall off. That is the smartest thing. There's also buy a smaller house. Me personally, I'm a lease customer because I like to have a car, a different vehicle. It's a little wasteful, yes, but that is a way I treat myself. But that's not the smartest route to go. That is just what I want to do.
Right.
Now, if you're going to get in and out of a car every 3 or 4 years, which again, just based on what you want to do, leasing is probably going to be a better option. because, like we said, cars depreciate. The way a lease works is that you're renting a car at a lower rate than you would be if you owned it and traded it in. There's a lot of numbers that go into that, but it's basically about a 20% savings once you knock everything out. Now you got to, again, educate yourself. Leasing is a lot more difficult than a traditional finance. There's a few areas that affect the lease, residuals, interest rates, money down, and you do need to understand how a lease works. But there are cars that lease very well to where, let's say, I would pay $500 a month for this car if I bought it. If I leased it, I would only pay $400, and then at the end of 3 years, I could turn it in, walk away. Whereas a buy, after 3 years, you probably don't want to trade it. You probably want to keep it and keep paying down on it. So that's kind of where a lease does. If you like to get another car every 3 or 4 years, which is some people do, then you lease. If you want to drive a car for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, which is a lot financially more sound to do, then you don't lease. You purchase the car. Okay. So
good advice. and how about buying a used car?
Used cars. Okay. So used cars, like I said, there's 3 used cars sold for every new car, which in the used car business is I kind of call it an adult lemonade stand. It's you've got a lot of variable, you know, in the little lemonade stand games we played when we were kids, you had the wind and the sun, all that. Right. It's the same thing with used cars. Right. Depreciation, how many cars are out there, whatnot. The internet, again, is your best friend, and it is also my best friend. Carfax. Get on Carfax when you're looking at a used car. I get on Carfax. I have a business account, so we can pull as many cars as we want. You're welcome to come pull one with us. I can buy cars online for our pre-owned lot if I'm not trading for any, and I need some more, you know, Chevrolet Silverados. I can buy some now online. I don't have to fly to an auction down in Florida. I can do it online. So that's saving me money and time, and I can get them in less and lower. And I can do all my research online. So I'm actually very similar to the consumer when I'm buying a car at an auction now. And I can see what the consumer's doing. So do your homework, find out your budget, find out what you can spend, find out what you want, what you like. Do you need a sedan or SUV? And then look online. Auto Trader's a good, any dealer's websites, but generally dealers are going to have their cars spread out on cars.com or autotrader.com, so to speak. And then you can find, you know, pretty much anything you're looking for, and then run a Carfax on it. Look up the dealer, you know, they have ratings online. Look them up. Look at the Google rating on a dealer. You don't, I mean, sometimes if they've only got 1 or 2 reviews, that's one thing. But if you've got a guy that's got hundreds of reviews and they're all generally positive, you're probably dealing with the more reputable person. The more research you can do, the better odds you have of getting the right car for you based on the right circumstances. So it's a used car business is a good business. It's always good to buy a used car too.
Wow, interesting. Let me ask you this: there's like 2 kind of people in our society now. There's one kind where a person is really into technology, into doing research on the internet. Okay, and then there's another kind of person who, God, he really doesn't like to do it. It frustrates him. Doesn't have the passion. Doesn't have. I mean, so if somebody is like the second type of person who's really doesn't want to do all that work, doesn't want to do all that research, doesn't want to learn how does that person buy a car? I mean, does he just come in fat, dumb, and happy? What happens with that person? And do you see many of those?
No, I would say customers that don't do a lot of research generally have a relationship with someone.
I see. I see.
If I have a customer, let's say I have a family friend that's bought 5 cars from me over the years, they just call me and they know about, you know, I'm pretty upfront with them and I say, look, this is what you want, this is what I can do for you, I can have it ready for you as soon as you go. Because that customer, when you get down to it, they want to feel good about the purchase, and they want convenience, and they want to be in and out fast, and they want to be treated right and get exactly what they're paying for fast. And they're willing to give up some research to have that. So I think generally our customers that are like that, we have longer relationships with. It's very rare that we would have somebody come in, just walk in now.
Right.
And you know, it's just, that's just kind of the way it is.
So it's like, I guess when people look for a doctor, a financial advisor, they want somebody that they can trust. Right.
It is.
Right.
And that's a tough one, but it's you know, it's that is a tough one. Right. I don't know how to actually answer that one.
Right. No, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. I know we've talked a lot about the car buying experience, and you know, most laymen think that it's a hassle.
It is.
Is there any way to make it less of a hassle?
Yes, and it has become that way, and I mean recently, and that's why I said, you know, people used to go to 4.5, 5 dealerships.
I see. Okay.
Now they're only going to one. The reason why is internet. The customer, I get online, if I know I want a Nissan Altima, I get online, I need a fuel-efficient 4-cylinder sedan. So I look at, you know, a few cars. I'm going to pick out the car I want,
Right.
and then I know where it is. I know the dealer that has it, and I've called and already negotiated it.
Okay, all right. Well, I've got 100 more questions I want to ask you, but we're out of time. So one of these days, if you don't mind, we'll get you back on the show, because I know that I'll get more questions from our audience as well. Once again, we want to thank our guest, Ben Keras, for joining us today. We hope the show provided valuable insight into the keys to success, both professionally and personally, and we encourage each of you in your future endeavors. We hope that you will join us again next month on Let's Talk Money.